The number of senior living communities being built, despite what you've seen, is 10%.
It's never going to
of what it needs to be. It's
Wow.
never going to catch up.
Well, it's good for the home care business.
Yeah, it
They're
is.
going to have to stay in their houses. Hi, everyone. You're watching the Light of Care podcast on YouTube or listening and watching on Spotify. This podcast is about our company, FirstLight Home Care of San Francisco and the Peninsula. Our goal is to provide comfort, company, and respite care to elders in need. This podcast aims to educate seniors and their families about the resources and support available to help them live well and age with confidence. I'm your host, Lynn Carteris, and today's episode is about something that touches every part of aging, care, and community life: change. Our guest is Alan Fox, a senior living operator leader with decades of experience across independent living, assisted living, memory care, and multi-placement communities. Alan has spent his career navigating the complex intersection of regulations, operations, finance, and most importantly, people. Welcome to the show, Alan.
Thank you. I'm very pleased to be here.
And I'm so excited to talk to you. And I always ask first, how'd you get into the business? What's your background? Mm-hmm. So go for it.
Well, I've been in senior living for about 15 years as an executive director. And for 5 years before that was the chief operating officer of the ARC of San Francisco, which is an agency that serves people with developmental disabilities, including a licensed day program for elders.
Okay.
So I've been in human services about 30 years in total, and in long-term care about 20 years.
Okay, so we're going to talk about your book, Managing Change in Senior Living. What inspired you to write this article, and is it a book?
Well, it's an article.
It's going to be a book.
Yeah, it'll probably be a chapter in my book when
Okay.
I pull enough material together.
What problems were you seeing in the industry that you felt needed to be addressed and brought to the public?
Well, change is a topic of worth in general. It affects all of us in every industry and all walks of life. It's especially, I think, pronounced in senior living because the people we serve as they age become less resilient and more sensitive to changes, right?
Yes.
And so it's more of a topic in senior living because of the people we serve, but also because the industry is undergoing such rapid change. There's a lot of new technological developments. There's very rapid demographic change happening right now. And so this topic was of interest for me. I think it's something of interest for really anybody that's interested in senior living, especially if you're in a community, because it's something that's going to affect you probably sooner than you think.
So you frame change as something to anticipate, make, and maximize. Why is that three-part approach so important? And where do most organizations fall short?
So change is something that people should anticipate. It's something that's very natural to senior living for a lot of reasons. Demographics, advancing technology. Plus, when you serve elders in general, you never know what the day is going to bring.
100%.
Yes, and so staff have to be responsible for really, literally in the moment, being able to adapt their plan for that person, for their shift, for the day. And so the very nature of senior living is one of evolution, of moving on, of things being different. Residents in a community, elders in general, they have a voice and they can help shape that change so that the negative effects of that are mitigated. Because change in and of itself isn't a positive or negative. It really is
Right.
for the residents to decide how that affects them, family members. The community may feel differently. They may feel negatively about a change the residents love. So it really is a value that people determine for themselves once the process is kind of complete.
What do you find in your experience and now, researching all this is the biggest thing that affects a resident? Like what kind of change affects them?
That's a really good question. And as an ED, the way that you would gauge change is based on the reaction that you receive from the residents, on their satisfaction, on what they say to you.
The residents combined with the families or mainly the residents?
Well, there are so many
I know memory care is tough.
stakeholders.
Yeah.
And each stakeholder group, even within the group, has different interests at play. So it's really difficult, for example, to make a change that pleases everybody.
Right. Well, of course.
But you could make the argument, well, if it pleases the most amount of people, or a large amount of people, or it doesn't displease everybody.
Right.
So there's a variety of ways to look at it, but everyone kind of decides what's good change for themselves. My advice to residents and family members is that you got to recognize that change is inevitable. You're living in a congregate setting where you're not the only voice.
So how does an executive director manage all of that, making decisions that affect everybody?
There's always, at every community, if it's family members, if it's residents who are really exercising a truly independent voice, or if it's residents that need help to kind of organize themselves. I've been in communities where the acuity level is fairly high. Mm-hmm. The residents weren't truly independent, but they still had a voice. And it was my job, as incumbent on me as a director, was to facilitate that voice, make it heard, make it known, and try and put their will into action. Not always, but to the extent of their ability. So in each community, no matter who lives there, there's always a way for the executive director to kind of gather what the residents' wishes are, opinions, what the stakeholders really want or what they don't want.
What do you foresee in the next 5 to 10 years happening in the community? This is a lot, so you can break it down however you want.
What we'll see in the next 5 years is what we're seeing now.
Okay.
And that is that the number of elders is growing exponentially.
Yep. We have 25% over 65 in San Mateo County alone.
And in some areas, it's
higher.
more acute.
Yes.
San Francisco is an old city. It's
Yes.
it's the oldest city out of the 50 largest U.S. cities, the median age. I've been really researching and wondering about why the market doesn't seem to be responding to that increased demand. Because at the same time, the numbers of elders are going up, the same time that the building is not increasing, the numbers of caregivers available is dwindling as well. So when you've got increasing demand, decreasing supply, Econ 101 says the price is going to go up, up, up. Quality is going to go down, down, down. That's kind of what I'm seeing kind of now happening.
We're one of the things that we're really proud of is, and thank you to everybody here, is that we service a lot of veterans because the VA offers that 16 hours free if a vet qualifies. Mm-hmm. And we talk to people every day that didn't even know it was available.
And aid and attendance benefits will help support community living as well.
Yeah.
There are resources out there that can help people. We have the assisted living waiver, which some folks may be aware of. It's Medicaid funding for assisted living communities. But it's very small in number, very underfunded. But it is kind of what we're talking about, having government funding support some of this.
Something's going to have to change. And I think that, just like everything government related, the investors and money people are seeing the change in this industry. Next will be the government, right? It could be even longer than 10 years. But anyway, you are awesome. I can't wait to hear more about you and what you're doing.
Thank you.
If anybody has questions, are you okay to give your information out?
Absolutely.
Okay.
You can call me at 415-432-0805, or you can go to my Substack, which is Senior Living World, where all my materials and articles are published and available.
We so appreciate you being here. We've got more interviews on the way. For now, a huge thank you for all of my team involved in bringing this podcast to life. For more information, check out our website at thepeninsula.firstlighthomecare.com and follow us on our social media pages. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.